Hi guys, this is Frederick from the techno label Detroit Berlin. I promised you when we reach 1,000 subscribers I will do a full studio tour, and this is the moment we've all been waiting for, especially I have been waiting for. We reached the goal of 1,000 subscribers, I would say up to the next 1,000, and yeah, let the channel grow, but I keep my promises, and this is my studio tour. So we're right outside the studio. I would say join me and yeah, follow me, come inside, and I will give you a small tour of my studio. So when we enter, mind the step. Some people, they break their necks if they're not careful enough. If you look over there, you see the main section of the studio, and it's my studio desk with my interface, my Moog Voyager, my Mini Moog Voyager, my monitoring system, a big screen, drum computer, the analog rhythm, the console one, a comfy chair. If you join me on the right side of the desk, we have the live setup. So I do my Motex live corner sets here. It's the modular system, sequencers, analog stuff from Moog and from Korg, a keyboard, amp, some other stuff like an MPC, which I don't use that often, but I'm getting into it. So I picked it up for very cheap a few years ago. Have to find some time, and then I get into it and I will use it for some productions. All the way to the left of the studio desk, there's my keyboard section with the Nordclavia Lead 2, a CS1X from Yamaha, the Prophet 8 from Dave Smith's Instruments, which now called Sequential again. Then the Motiv ES6 from Yamaha, one of my very first keyboards. Don't use the sounds all that often, but it's very good key bed. Then the mixing desk, some drum computers, some other analog synthesizers with keyboards. And if you join me to the fourth section in my studio, here is the DJ booth with the CDJs, the DJ mixer. I do my DJ sets in here. Music from Detroit, Berlin, and from some other artists. Some artwork from a Belgian artist called Pierre Alechinsky, like that one very much. Have some upstairs. Very nice artist, very nice paintings. Then, my vinyl collection. If you look here, there is the cupboard with all these effects pedals, some pedals from Moog, Dark Energy, some sequencers, some books on music, and some other instruments, and a printer, and the necessary stuff, some violins, some theremin, all crazy stuff. Let's first close the door and go over here. And this is my play seat with a PlayStation VR for when I'm bored and I want to do some gaming. So who doesn't like gaming? Follow me to the, I think, maybe the most important section of them all, and this is the restroom where I spent quite some time, but if you gotta go, you gotta go. I will do some close-ups of all the sections of my studio, so if you would like some more in-depth views of the studio, I would just say enjoy it, and give this video a thumbs up, subscribe. Let's go to 2,000 subscribers, and I'll do maybe something special when we reach that goal. So glad you like my channel. Thanks for subscribing. Like this video if you do. And let's go take a look in depth into all the sections of my studio. Hi guys, welcome to the main section of my studio. This is, where all the magic happens. I'm in front of my Minimoog Voyager, on which I did the Game Changing Gears episode. I will put the link in the description below so you can have another view if you haven't seen it already. This has the best keyboard in any synth I ever played, so I use it as a main keyboard and of course as the analog synthesizer, which the Minimoog Voyager is. I got the expansion for free and I use it with a little section of modular synthesizer. Very simple but very effective in creating some great sounds. Then I have the analog rhythm, which I mentioned before. What can I say? Also did an episode, Game Changing Gear, on the analog rhythm from Elektron. Also will put the link in the description below so you can have another watch, or if you haven't seen it already, see it for the first time. It's a great device. I'm very thrilled to have it in my studio. If we go on the left side of the desk, we have the UAD audio interface. You also have a smaller audio interface from SSL. This is for my laptop. That is for the Mac Pro, which I'm running. It's the Darth Vader helmet, like the trash can unit from I think 2010, but it runs really great. It's very silent. I use my old TV for display. I have the Adam Audio S3H loudspeakers, which I purchased recently. I have them about a month now, maybe a little bit over a month, and I'm very impressed with them. I also have my old JBL 4311 loudspeakers, my monitors. Very nice speakers. I can control it with a monitor controller. And they sound good, but the Adam Audio, they really, they're fantastic. So I will perhaps do an in-depth video on these speakers in another episode. Just underneath the audio interface, I have the 4710D from Universal Audio, 4 preamp, 4 line inputs. So in total with the Apollo I have 16 inputs and a little bit over 16 outputs. The inputs are great, the preamps are great, the plugins are amazing. They're at the expensive side, but they do a lot of discounts. So you will be able to purchase them for an affordable price if the moment is right. I have the PlayStation 4 for when I'm bored or when I'm a little bit tired of making music for a while and I just want to relax and play some video games. Who doesn't like games? I certainly do. So there's the PS4. It's a great console. I'm not into PC gaming. I don't have a PC. I have a Mac, but I won't go on to that topic because it's a never-ending story. I don't like PC over Mac. I just bought a Mac because it's that silent and I'm very lazy, and the Mac, it just works, and don't have a preference, but I just have the Mac and I use it, and it's still a beast after all these years. It's a 2010 model, so it still runs great. So I hope to be able to use it for another 5 or another 10 years, hopefully. I have the console one. Will do a Game Changing Gear video on this device because it's also in the league with the Minimoog Voyager and the Elektron analog rhythm. It's a great device. It improved my workflow tremendously. So I will do a Game Changing Gear episode on this one. Otherwise, I would say, this is the main section. Let's get over to the live section. So, this is the live section where I do my Motec videos, my live sets. I have done a few, but I will do many more in the future. I will do shorter versions, but yeah, need to find some time, but I will do some more videos, so please watch the channel, and you can find them under the Motex modular corner. We have the big modular system, which consists of my live cases. The Octatrack, I have it here, but normally I put the analog rhythm there, or I just play with the modular system by itself. Then we have a big modular system that I use for sound design, for creating sample packs. Please take a look at the sample stream library. We did some samples for them. So yeah, there are kicks, hi-hats, we recorded some snares. I have some videos about these snares, hi-hats and kicks. I'll put them in the description below. Then we have one of my favorite synthesizers. It didn't make the game-changing gear list, but it's a fantastic device. It's the Grandmother. They came with the Moog Matriarch, which is even a greater, a more magnificent synthesizer than the Grandmother was. Also have the Sub Fatty, which is a great synthesizer, but actually the sound is very close to the Grandmother, but the way you control the synthesizer is totally different. So they're sound-wise, you can have the same sound, but the way you work with the synthesizer is totally different, so you make other sounds with it. It's very natural. Then I have the Complex Sequencer. I'm not that fond of that sequencer. It's a little bit wonky. I think the clock is not receiving signals well and distributing them well. So yeah, it's a weird device. It can make great sequences and do stuff, but it's a little bit underwhelming. I think it's very complex, hence the name Complex Sequencer, but for me it's a little bit underwhelming. More modular stuff and the Korg MS-20 module, which is of course the classic sound of the MS-20, but without the keys, because the keys, if you hear the reviews, the keys weren't that impressive. And I kind of like the smaller footprint of the module. Over here we have a keyboard amp. I use it for parties or just for monitoring myself when playing live sets. The main monitors are to my left side, and I have a better impression of what I'm doing when I use a keyboard amp. So what can I say? This is the modular corner. Also have the Dark Time sequencer and the DIY case I built myself. Some videos on the modular chapter of Detroit Berlin. Have a look at how that process went. I'm still very happy I did that. I made the case, and it was an experience. I can really encourage everyone to try something out like that. Let's head on over to the keyboard section. These are my keyboards. I really think the Prophet 8 is one of the most inspiring. It's an easy synthesizer, but it's very deep in its simplicity. It can sound tremendously nice. Also the CS1X, I really like that synthesizer. I bought it for dirt cheap, but the sounds are the sounds of the early 90s, the late 80s, and I just think there are some great patches on there, and the lower sound quality of the synthesizer is its big advantage, I think. It has a really nice vibe. Nordlead 2X doesn't need an introduction. It's a classic synthesizer. Yeah, the Clavia Sound, one of my first ones, my first virtual analog synthesizer. I bought it right after I bought the Yamaha Motiv ES. That was my workstation synthesizer, and yeah, I used it for some very cheesy music. I now use it for controlling other synthesizers and do some sequencing. Some sounds are still great, but most of all I use the Prophet, the Yamaha CS1X, and the Nordlead. I also use slightly less than the other two, but still you can have very nice results. Over there we have a mixing desk which I mostly use to EQ stuff and do some slight mixes of different sounds if I want to layer stuff, but mostly I use those preamps, those EQs to fatten stuff up, to tweak it. I use them in the sample pack recording sessions. Also have a DX200, Ableton Push, the Akai Iwi. Also did a game-changing gear episode on that one. We'll link in the description below. The machine drum, my very first drum machine, which I was really blown away. And yeah, it took me about 2 years to really get into it. Then the Cyclone 303 clone, very nice little Roland 303 clone. Drum Brute and Mini Brute, both Arturia synthesizers. I like them, but I don't prefer them over the rest, but they're a nice addition to the studio and they offer a slightly different sound. The two Boutiques series, the TR9 and the JX03, both great Detroit techno machines. The GX03 is a great machine to make Detroit techno with. Also this CS1X, the DX200, great machines. I use it in productions. Then we have the Miami from Acid Lab, and that's actually a 808 clone. Yeah, it's a nice device, but it feels a little bit, how should I say, the quality is there, but it doesn't feel like it's robust, and it's not heavy. It's kind of lightweight, and it has a little bit of bend. It's all metal, but yeah, the build itself isn't that impressive. And on the side of my rack I keep my sub pack. Use it a lot for mastering and checking things for my live sets. I use it to really have the feeling of being in a club. It's a backpack with kind of a subwoofer in there. I will do a game-changing gear series about the sub pack because it's a really awesome device, and it changed quite something in my production workflow. So definitely we'll do an episode on that. What you can't see at this camera angle is over there. It's the Fender Rhodes piano. It's one of my most favorite instruments of all time. We'll turn the camera and then you can have a look. The Fender Rhodes piano, it has the most beautiful sound of all electric pianos in the world. This is a 73 model with the speakers. It has a tremolo effect which actually moves the sound between those two speakers. Actually there are 4 speakers in this amplifier. The Fender Rhodes, it's a great electric piano. I got into music because I like this sound so much, and eventually I bought one and I redid all the Tolex of this electric piano because of an incident with water. Maybe I'll sometime do some episode on this electric piano, but for now let's concentrate on the studio. I would say follow me to the DJ booth and I will give a brief overview of what's in the booth. This is my DJ booth. It's nice because I have a nice overview and I have the main speakers over there, so I really have this like a little bit of clubby feeling to it. Have my laptop or my other laptop which I use for DJ sets, two Pioneer CDJs and the Traktor S8 mixer. It both runs Traktor and it also can accept the control of the CDJ 900 Nexuses. And yeah, you can switch between them. It's a very nice mixer. I used to have some other controls, but I sold them because they didn't, yeah, they crashed, and when controllers, which are also sound cards, crash, you don't want that in a live situation. So yeah, it was a little bit wonky. The Control SH from Native Instruments, yeah, it works great. It has a nice feeling, the knobs are fine. Also have two turntables, which I'm, yeah, not the biggest turntable list of all time, but yeah, I just like to put on some records. And yeah, the vinyl, yeah, who doesn't like vinyl, especially with techno. I think it's nice to just have a piece of material which you put on the platter, you position the needle, and yeah, it's a nice feeling. It's also a great sound together with my preamp, my 3-chord, I think it's called. It's a high quality preamp and it surely makes the Technics SL1210 sound very nice. Also have the Pioneer PLX 1000. Yeah, they're comparable, they're great turntables, industry standard I would say. So great setup, lots of vinyls from Raster Noton, all kinds of techno, Token, Trezor, yeah, Motivolver. I have a lot of vinyls. The artwork I talked about in the short tour. And then behind me is the closet, the cupboard with all the FX pedals. I would say let's have a brief look at that. And yeah, I don't think I need to show the Playseat and the PlayStation VR. Both are amazing pieces of, yeah, gaming gear. Love racing simulations, love all other kinds of games, but that's for another channel. That's not the main focus of Detroit Berlin. So I will give you a look into the FX pedals closet, and then I think we're finished with the studio tour. So this is the closet with all the little gear, I would say, some instruments, some pedals, some small modules. It's kind of difficult to get a good view of those pedals, but I will go quickly through those pedals and yeah, tell you what's in the closet. It's various gear, but yeah, we have a phase shifter, a distortion unit, a fuzz unit, all Boss pedals. Then we have the Giga Delay, the Vocal Performer VE20 and the RE20 Space Echo from Roland. I especially use that Space Echo a lot on analog synthesizers, on the modular, on my EWI. It's a very versatile effects unit and it's great for synthesizers and for guitars and yeah, all that good stuff. The distortion unit, I use it on the TR-09 and other drum computers. It's a nice device to use it on. The Polychorus on pad sounds and ambient stuff. It's it's not that great with synthesizers in that it kind of feedbacks and it squeaks a lot when using percussive sounds, so really more for the atmospheric stuff. Then the Cathedral stereo reverb, it's a good reverb, but yeah, I know there's better reverbs on the market. It has a special electro harmonics vibe to it, but it's not that defined, and yeah, it's a good pedal, but I wouldn't recommend it. Maybe a Big Sky or some other pedals like the H9, I think, from Eventide. Not sure I'm correct. But then we move over to the JoeMox, the M-Bass 11 kick module. Then the Monotribe, an K-oscillator, some other small devices, some batteries, memory cards. Then we have Dark Energy, a sequencer, the SQ1 from Korg, which I got with the MS-20 module. Then a lot of Moog Fogers, the MIDI Mirth, the Phaser, the low pass, ring modulator, the Freakbox, which is kind of an oscillator which really freaks out when you feed it signals. The Monotrons, the delay and the normal Monotron. Then my acoustic instruments, I have a bass clarinet, and these are some reeds, a neck strap and stuff like that. Then I have various kind of small gear. The Waldorf Blofeld module, which is used in the EWI 4000 video. I wanted to sell it, but after I did that video and I discovered how much I liked its sound and its expressiveness, it was the first time that the breath control really worked, and I really discovered the module again. So I'm in between selling or not selling. The thing is, if I sell it, I'm not sure which can replace the Waldorf Blofeld, because I have kind of a love-hate relationship with that module. It's kind of great, but it's also a little bit of pain in the ass, and then you can't see it on camera, but I have a few boxes with 2 electric violins, which I use for effects, and a Moog Theremin, which I don't use that often anymore, but it's a great device and it will go up in value. And sometimes when I don't know what to do, I just take the Theremin out and I fool around. I used to be not great, but kind of good at getting the right pitches and playing melodies on it, but it's such a difficult instrument and you really have to practice, and I just don't have the time. And it's a nice FX unit. Printer and some CDs. My CD collection, it's in here in the closet. So I think that concludes the studio tour. Thank you for watching, and hope to see you next episodes. So thanks for subscribing. Please hit the like button if you like the video. Up to 2000 subscribers and on. So maybe next year I'll do a new studio tour if things have changed. I probably do some, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm quite happy how the studio is right now, with all these different sections, with the live corner, the DJ booth, the main section, the keyboard section with the great monitoring system. Name it. I'm very happy with the situation right now. I will just get into making more music. Please enjoy my releases, and see you next episode. Thanks for watching.